Hi and welcome to Healthy Life Hacks. I'm Jefferies, the present day wise woman, a realistic naturopath coming to you from the surfing beaches of Australia. This podcast is for those of you who are wanting to really rock your life and health and live from a place of prevention. Let's get into today's episode. An extraordinary life or a reasonable life? Choose. Think about it for a minute. Do you want to be living into an extraordinary life or a reasonable life? I want to start by defining the difference between reasonable and extraordinary, because that's what I said. Do you want a reasonable life or an extraordinary life? A reasonable life it's said to be having sound judgment, fair and sensible. I don't think I've got a sensible bone in my body. This is a hint that I don't live a reasonable life. Sorry, that just cracked me up. And moderate. So it's like reasonable, sound judgment, fair, sensible, and moderate. Compared to extraordinary. Extraordinary is things like remarkable, amazing, astonishing, astounding. Which one do you think sounds more appealing for you? Okay, do you want the fair and sensible, or do you want amazing, remarkable, astounding, astonishing? I think you can tell pretty quickly that I'm into an extraordinary life. I really am. And what I've learned in my life over nearly 60 years, because I've lived both. I've lived a reasonable life and I've been consciously living an extraordinary life for years now. For me, the biggest difference is when we live a reasonable life, we have all the reasons, excuses, whatever you want to call them, that will keep us comfortable. And it's a good life. It is a really good life. It can still be good, but it's comfortable and it works. And I've been there, lived it, done it, and it's cool. However, imagine you lived an extraordinary life full of juicy experiences that, yeah, for sure, are going to take you outside your comfort zone sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes. And generally, it's not even a long way outside your comfort zone. It's just that little step, that little piece, that little 1%, that when you step outside there, you come into the uncomfortable zone. However, that's where the juicy stuff lives. It's all there. And how I've seen it show up in my life is I really notice when I've got reasons on why I can't do something. Someone says, hey, Jan, you want to do this? And really thinking about my life in the past, it's like, yeah, but, and then the but, as I've talked about in previous episodes, follows with an excuse why I can't do it, or a reason. And that keeps me in a reasonable life, which I say is good, but I want more. I want more. It's the truth. And I know a lot of people, I meet so many people in my practice and even just out in life who have got a good life, and they've lost their spark for that good life. And so often it really is just a 1% tweak to do to step you back into heading towards extraordinary. And for me, I even had, I don't know if you can see my tattoo. For those of you watching this on YouTube, I don't think my arm, oh, there you go, I can turn my arm. So on my wrist of my right arm, I have a tattoo and it's a heart. It's a rainbow heart, of course. It's got a peace sign in the middle because I'm all about peace, love. That's why it's a heart, and rainbows in my life. But I also have the word extra written in there. And it's there right in my face all the time to remind me to do that little bit extra. Extraordinary is just extraordinary. So imagine to live an extraordinary life, you're looking for those little things, and it honestly is like 1% different to the way someone who's living a reasonable life would live. So imagine it's, if you're exercising, you do that one more rep. If I'm surfing, I stay, even though I'm buggered and I'm done and my time's out, I'll go one more wave, because I know it's that one more wave that takes me to the next level. If it's sleep, imagine you went to bed just 15 minutes early. Why? Because 1% of your day is 15 minutes. Extraordinary people make sure they're looking after their bodies, they're doing their self-care and everything, and they absolutely respect themselves. And so it's like, it's worth saying, this is it. If I want an extraordinary life and I want to have all the energy to power through my day the way I want, I'm going to go to bed 15 minutes early. That's 1% of your day. So instead of having that last 15 minutes of TV or that last 15 minutes of scrolling through something mindless or 15 minutes of, I don't know, reading a book that mightn't light you up totally, what's going to take you to have an extraordinary life over a reasonable life? It's honestly like 1%. And people go to me so often, Jen, you're so lucky, you've got this and this and this, and you travel and you know, well, guys, I created this life. I consciously left the security and safety of my retail aromatherapy shops, my naturopathic clinic, my training center, all that stuff. I left that secure life because I wanted an extraordinary life. I did it. I had it all. It was wonderful. It was a really good life. And I wanted to experience an extraordinary life. My tattoo for me reminds me what's on the other side of saying yes. When someone says to me, Jen, you want to learn how to surf? Yes. And then I've got to work it out. But I know, like I got out of the surf this morning, which is what prompted this call, this podcast. I got out of the surf this morning, high as a kite, just on life. I had a really solid, fun session in the surf. It was high tide, it was full waves, like it was just like, wah! And I was strapping my surfboard on the roof, just going, and my body was so just juiced up on happy hormones of life. It's like, this is the difference. Why did I get up at 4 o'clock in the morning to surf for sunrise? Why? It's that 1% that gives me that extraordinary life. Now, you don't have to get up at 4 a.m. and all that stuff, but what's your thing? And part of that is that I do go to bed early enough so that I can get up at 4 a.m. and have the energy to power through my days. But what's your thing? The healthy life hack for this episode is pretty simple. Look for things where you can do that extra 1% a day. 1% is 15 minutes of time. That's it. Or is it 1% where you could just say yes? When the kids say, Mum, will you come and jump on the trampoline? You say yes. And you get your ass out there and you jump on that trampoline for 15 minutes and you just have a blast with your kids. That's extraordinary versus saying, no, go and jump on your own. That's it. And I want you to put a reminder to live an extraordinary life. If you choose it, you don't have to. But I know how these things physically show up in our bodies, whether life is comfortable, predictable, not necessarily boring, but same. I know how that shows up physically in your body versus having that life in you. So healthy life hack number 2 is to put a reminder to live into living an extraordinary life if you choose. For me, it's a tattoo on my arm. It's in my face all the time. One more. And I know how that shows up for me and I know how I feel. I wish you could feel what I felt this morning when I got out of the surf. I just wish. And no, you don't have to take up surfing, but what's your thing that you've been putting off or you used to do in the past and it used to juice you up? What is it? Think of across all the parts of your life, whether it's relationships, how long since you've written a little love note to your partner? Like, what is it? What are the little things you can do that are just going to come back to you? You're doing it clean without a hook, but they will. Just that whole, it's one of those laws of nature. You know, we get back what we give out. Someone's got to go first. Go first and live into that extraordinary life. And the impacts are huge. If you're wanting to get a copy of the show notes for this episode, head to healthylifehacks.com.au. And in the next episode, I'm going to be talking all things headaches. I want to thank you for being here today. If you enjoyed my podcast, please let me know by leaving a review on Apple Podcast. Every month, I draw one lucky person who leaves a review on Apple Podcast to have a free 1-hour consultation with me. Be sure to subscribe to the show wherever you're tuning in from so that you always catch the next episode. And if you would like to receive a free copy of my Feed Your Body ebook, simply click the link in the comments below. Join my newsletter and we will get that free ebook sent to you. I welcome your emails and you can write to me at podcast@healthylifehacks.com.au. Until next time, remember, when it comes to life, live it, love it, and get on with it.